Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Jason. I wanted to go over a project. Been thinking about this project for about 2 years, what to do. This is a whole house filtration system that I put in. We have an RO system under our sink. We've had that for many years. I wanted to clean up our water from city source, and this is what I did. So here is my filtration system that I did. I did 3 pre-filters. The first one is a 20 micron filter. The second one is a 5 micron filter. And this last one's a 1 micron filter before going into the carbon filter and the no salt softener. It's really a descaler kind of softener. This is my main pipe coming in to the house. This is line coming in from the city. Comes in, I use some shark bite fittings because this is a 1 1/4 inch pipe, PEX pipe, and I could not find any fittings that I liked that were worth a damn, so I decided to go with these shark bite fittings, 2 of them, that reduce from, 1 1/4 to 1 inch PEX. Unless I find any 1 1/4 inch clamps, they're just few and far between. I didn't want to buy the whole kit to crimp those, so I use these PEX crimp fittings here. So this comes in. This is a T for when I want to change out the filters. I can open this up, continue to have water through the house. These would be obviously closed. I would close this one and then I'd close this one, but I'm not going to do that. And so this one stays closed in the center so that this filters, but this is water coming in. Has a T right there. These are PEX crimp T's. I got these on supplyhouse.com. These are no lead fittings, so you don't want to use lead in your pipes. Pull lead in the house water for drinking and cooking and showering and all that. So these are 100% just lead free fittings, brass fittings. And so there's a 90 right there. There's a shut-off valve. I have a few shut-off valves. These are 1 inch. And so it's coming down, coming around that pipe, PEX pipe. You can heat these and bend these to where you want. This is a T that I branched off, goes in from a 1 inch to a 1/2 inch. And then I put a gauge on here. That's the beginning gauge, showing about 60, 64. It fluctuates between about 62 to 68, it seems like, depending on who's taking showers and washing dishes and whatnot. These are just the rings to open up these filters. And so that's another, this is a T, brass inlet coming in. These filters are see-through so that I can see what my pleated filters look like, the filter housings I should say, and put a board up and basically drill those into there to secure them. These are brass nipples. I use all kinds of pipe dope along with some better quality Teflon tape. This is what I originally started out with, and you can see there's just a little bit of water. I need to take those apart and redo those fittings because this particular heavy-duty tape works so much better. These were leaking, and so I had to take these apart initially when I put all this together and use some better quality stuff to keep it from leaking, and it does not leak anymore where I use those. This is the post filter gauge that I put on so that I can obviously see my filters, what they look like, but I wanted to see the pressure reading if I am coming down. These actually pleated filters, that 25 and a 1 micron, do not reduce pressure in the household, so that's a nice thing. This comes down from a T into this particular, and again, these are all what I use, the original Teflon tape, and I just need to take these apart. I plan on doing my garage floor very soon, so I'm gonna have to disconnect these to pull these units out. so we can get under the flooring, and then I will just redo those at that given time. But these filter housings don't take long to pull apart, and they drop down. This is a tight space because it's basically behind a fridge, garage fridge I have, and then my sauna on the back side here. But they're pretty easy to take apart. And so this line is coming in, went through the pre-filters. That takes out all the sediment from the city water, cleans it up quite a bit. These filters I anticipate last in about a year before needing a replacement. They're about 20 bucks, and it's pretty simple. Again, I know you can wash these filters if you want to spend the time. It just kind of depends how dirty they are, but I'll just probably, replace them when time comes. This water comes in, it goes down through this unit here. Again, these are Apex units. I researched the heck out of Whole House Filtration Systems. I put these pre-filters in so that these guys would last a lot longer. They're supposed to last about 100,000 gallons of water, and I'm hoping that they last quite a bit longer. You can replace the sediment in here once they are bad. This one again washes about, you can set it to wash every day, every other day, 3 days. I have them set to wash every 2 weeks, and so it runs through a regeneration cycle and cleans itself through this pipe that empties into the drain line, and that comes down in there with a T, a trap, and empties itself out. But once it goes through this unit, then it comes out to this. I have it flexed over here, if you can see, and it's coming into this unit with a brass fitting at 90 degree, some PEX crimps, and once this comes through here, this is a kind of a softener, descaler, just kind of structures the water a little bit different, and our water now lathers up in the shower, but not to where it's slimy and can't come off. I really wanted to use a no salt system, just because it's quite a bit healthier for the body. You don't have to worry about your plants, your pets, where you're washing, cleaning your food, taking a shower, your clothes, all that kind of stuff. It's nice to have that. This comes down into a T, and then it goes back into the house. This is an automatic shutoff valve that I installed, but I am going to redo these two right here and put on some 1-inch automatic valves, but that'll be a project in a couple of months I'll do. That will control all the sensors that I have on every sink and toilet and everything in the house. This is a 90, comes in. This is the 3rd gauge. That way I can see what my pressure reading is after the big carbon and the no salt filter look like. They're all reading a pretty close amount, so I'm not losing any pressure. That's a 68 PSI right there, it shows. These gauges were about $4, something like that. So it's $10 or so worth of extra parts, fittings, 1 inch to a 1/4 inch stainless steel fitting that just basically screws in. That comes down, and I teed it off. This I already had, so I put a stop in there, and so that's the shutoff valve to the ice maker that I have in here. So we have clean ice for the most part that we use for extra ice. That's a T in there, bolted it to the wall or screwed it to the wall. Here's another shutoff valve so that if this has lead in it, which I don't know, it's not going to go back up into our ice. And so this is another 90. I had 5 of these, so I had to use them somewhere. It comes down, this is a hose bib, obviously, and so is for put a little hose that this expands out to 50 feet. It's just pretty concise and wound up, but I can use that for car washes and whatnot, washing spot free and cleaner, simpler, no hard water. And that's about it. So these fittings add up a little bit, but I got those on uswatersystems.com. They've been great. or actually I got the filters on uswatersystems.com, and then the fittings I actually got on supplyhouse.com. They've been actually really good. These are all PEX crimp fittings. And as far as that goes, I put a little bit of silicone, food grade silicone around the gaskets on all those, around all the fittings so that they don't leak. But that was about it. It's not a hard project. It just takes a little time planning, figure out what fittings are available and which ones that you need. I had to draw this out a few times to make it exactly the way I anticipated. You run into little problems here and there, but for the most part, you order some of the stuff. I think I ordered fittings twice just because I missed one or two, because there's quite a few fittings. These are pressure reducing valves. That way, when you turn the system off and you want to open these housings up, you can open that up without pressure. They can drain, put a bucket below, and collect some of that water. But that filter is a little more yellow than those filters right here, and it's been about a month, so you can already see that it's catching a little bit of sediment and starting to do its job. Again, the 20 is going to get a lot darker than the 5 and the 1, but we'll kind of keep an eye on it and see how it goes. But that's basically it. It's not too hard to crimp these. These are 1-inch crimp fittings, PEX crimp fittings. It takes a lot of pressure to squeeze those together, but they have not leaked, and they're great. They're easy to do. This PEX pipe can be heated with a heat gun and can be bent, like I bent that one, and it's pretty simple and easy and straightforward. But any person can do this as long as they just have a little patience, get through some of it, and it's a nice system. I've had several compliments by some plumbers that have come up. I'm anticipating I'm doing a tankless heater in the attic, and I've had a few come by and really ecstatic about how this turned out. They couldn't believe a homeowner did this. They said it was the nicest unit they've ever seen a homeowner actually install. And really it's just PEX fittings, 3 pre-filters, and some whole house filtration systems that clean. And you could pay someone to do this, but this isn't really hard. You just want to take your time and make sure all your fittings are on correctly. I'm going to put a water sensor on the bottom here at some point. That way it'll shut off. I'm going to have, again, like I said, a 1-inch and a 1-inch. That way you can shut both of these off. The line coming in, line coming out. In case there is some kind of failure or fault, it'll shut both of them off and send me an alert through my SmartThings device. But you can see someone's taking a shower, pressure's dropped down. My pressure was actually reading about 90 to 95 when I first installed this, and so I knew something was wrong. And so it was my PRV valve that had failed outside. It was covered in soil and it had rusted. It was plastic top, so I replaced that, and now I don't have any shower cartridges blowing out or toilet tank fill units blowing out, which we were going through them, every couple of years. So this has saved some of the appliances in that aspect. But this is really clean water. It pulls out all the chlorine that we can taste and smell, and softens the water, like I said. But it really cleans things up. Our RO system should last a little longer. Our appliances should last longer. It's just a better choice for your health and family. And so I'd recommend anybody think about doing something like this, and it's not too complicated. All right, that's about it. We'll see you. And just one more piece of advice. I'm not a certified plumber. I've done a lot of plumbing projects, so I feel very comfortable doing things like this on my own home. So if you don't feel comfortable, hire somebody. But these are the pipe thread sealants. I did both, so I put 3 to 4 wraps around with this heavy duty, Teflon tape, and then this is pipe thread sealant. And so I put a little bit of that on these fittings, just like so, and they have worked out extremely well so far. So if you're going to do a plumbing project. These weren't available several years back that I remember, and now that we have them, they are definitely worth the money to do, and that way you don't have to worry about anything leaking for the most part, your fittings. So good luck, we'll see y'all.